morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 193 of Littleroot Lessons. I just had a muffin, and that's going to be correct for both the time of recording and when you listen to it. And today, I'm joined by Jay and Carter. We got the 2 weeks in a row with all three hosts.
All right, I'm going to head on out. Bye, guys.
You have no excuse.
You got this.
The Cowboys game already ended, if we're calling that a game.
It was against... We had our third bye week of the season, so...
Yeah, Cowboys practice went really well today. They scored a lot of points. They really made the B team look bad. They need some work.
So I have to say this. I did tweet this out. Like, everyone's talking about Tommy DeVito, the Giants quarterback, who still lives with his parents, and he's like, oh yeah, like my mom still makes my bed and lives with like makes me dinner. I got the chicken cutlets when I come home. That is every single, as an Italian son, that is like every single Italian mother's dream, that their son is not like a complete loser or like making his money doing
rich and
crime.
famous, but still lives at home.
Exactly, and still needs mommy to make his bread and feed him dinner. If like my mother will never admit to it, but if you really pushed her, what she like wished for, it would be for my brother and I to just move back home and for her to just take care of us. Never happening, but yeah. Had to get that out. Had to say that to someone.
That's so funny.
We're here for two straight weeks with no events. We're not good. We are here to talk about Pokemon, and there is some news that we did neglect to share last week because we wanted to get straight into team building. And Jay, tell us about this news.
The Indigo Disc DLC has a release date for December 14th, so coming a lot sooner than anyone may have anticipated. Feels like we're going to be playing GS Cup in like May at this point, and I'm really not loving that. I'm excited for Incineroar to come back, honestly, low-key. I hate saying it, but I do like that Pokemon.
I'm excited for it to just condense a ton of roles on my team, and I can, get a little creative with a few extra spots and say, boom, Incineroar, here's my tape. It is the duct tape of Pokemon. Works everywhere.
Yeah, I'm also just excited for, more Pokemon. Hopefully that will shake up the meta. I know we got, Raging Bolt. And Iron Crown that hopefully will become legal, along with, I hope, Walking Wake and the Iron Leaves. Okay, I knew it was one of the grassy names, but yeah, I think that there's some cool Pokemon that are definitely going to come and shake up what we got going on. I'm excited for some new stuff because I think that the format has really reached like a centralizing point recently.
I actually have the list of returning Mons pulled up here.
Hey, not now.
Yeah, maybe don't go into spoilers.
We need content for the Thanksgiving week episode.
No, this is like the officially announced stuff. This is all from like trailers and like posts and everything. It's not spoilers tags.
Yeah,
well,
Whimsicott, I know.
Yeah, like Whimsicott's the only one I really care about.
Whimsy and Incineroar are both big
ones.
And
Hitmontop. We get Hitmontop back. I think that's it. I would
have been a lot more excited for Hitmontop if it was in base decks because
same.
Yeah, that thing could have been real good.
Oh, and it would have been amazing.
Not so much anymore. I think when GS Cup rolls around, like I think it'll be solid again, just as like a wide guarding intimidator.
Theory.
Yeah, I mean it gets a lot of value against Groudon, Kyogre, the Callies.
Metagross is coming back too.
Yeah, Metagross is gonna be good. Whimsy's gonna be good. Instin's gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean that's like it, right? Venusaur is like fine.
I think Venusaur's going to be really. I think Venusaur will be good for the Sun Archetype because, like, as good as Hisuian Lilligant is, like the Sun Archetype really doesn't have that really strong like grass type chlorophyll user to take advantage of everything. And I think Venusaur could fill that niche. And of course, we also don't know about the Pokemon that haven't been announced, and we don't know much about the ones that have been: Raging Bolt, Archaludon, the new attacks that have been shown off, how they're going to work, what their specs are going to be, and that's all going to be for a future episode. There are also 2 other small points of news that I need to get to just super quick. It's important to me because it features a favorite Pokemon of mine. Give me a second.
Did Mamoswine win some event I don't know about?
No, but I like more Pokemon than Mamoswine. I am a huge Eevee fan, and there's going to be 2 Eevee-based events this week. The first weekend, during LAIC, the first is going to be mass outbreaks all throughout Paldea and Kitakami, of Eevee running through November 17th through the 20th. And the next, running at the same exact time, is going to be... where are you? There you are. Is going to be 7-star Terra Normal Eevee raids. So you can get your Terra Normal shards. You can farm those for your Arcanine and your Dragonites. And then you can also get a super cute friend who is going to love you unconditionally for the rest of your life forever, while you're in the process of doing so.
Isn't that just standard Eevee? Like, you can't get, like... It's only
but this one's a cool
Terra,
mark,
right? Does it have a mark?
Yeah, they get
all the 7 stars do.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's going to be.
I think I've done a total of 1 7-star raid in my life. So that's not true. Jay and I did the Iron Leaves and Walking Wake raids when we were in
Knoxville.
Knoxville.
Those were 5 stars.
Those were 5
stars.
Then yeah, they were in the 7s.
Completely off topic, my dad just texted me to gloat that he beat my ass in fantasy football this week.
Well, that's what you get. Also, Angelo, I'm destroying you, and it's all because of Dak Prescott.
It's because you guys got to play a JV team.
Keenan Allen didn't. He's just a man who put up 35.
I had Keenan Allen put up 35 points in the LRL league against the CPU team that has multiple players on the IR and multiple players on bye weeks this week too.
Is that like the 6-3 like bot team?
No, I don't think this one is. I think this is the really bad one because they have J.K. Dobbins on IR starting in their lineup. So
awesome.
The other team is the other bot team is crazy though. That team is insane. They have like Stephon Diggs and yeah, that team's nuts.
Okay, so the second part of this episode, we did plan stuff, guys. The second part of this episode is actually going to be very Carter-driven because Carter went and played VGC in person yesterday.
I did. I had... so it was about... 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was just like, I wonder if there's anything close. And so naturally I started looking on the event locator. And I found that Collector's Cache up in Kansas City is like Lenexa area. Which I know that means literally nothing to you too. It's like the greater Kansas City area over in Kansas. It's about an hour and a half drive for me, about an hour for Carl. So Carl and I went and played. And... we talked about it a little bit last week about what I was going to play and everything. And then Friday, I'm just like, I don't like my team.
Yeah, that was a fun text to get. And it's like, I don't like it. And I texted him like, well, what part? And you're like, yes.
Pick a part? I'm pretty sure my exact response was, there's nothing about this team I actually like, or something like that.
It was like the whole thing. The whole thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Angela said, which part? I said, all of it.
Yeah.
So, Carter did go and, actually, before we go into Carter, first thing, shout out to Carl, who went 4-0 in Swiss.
4-0, 8-0 in Swiss.
Yeah, 4-0, 8-0 in Swiss. Didn't drop a game. Dropped game one of the top four, but then rallied back to take the next two, and then called it quits and went home in the finals because he was tired.
Yeah, his finals opponent was the Dozo player he had already beat, and then he's just like, "Hey, I don't feel like playing this, so uh, can I just give you the points?" And the guy's like, "Oh, thank goodness, I didn't want to play you. There's a 0% chance I can win."
Hopefully next time you got because it sounds like this might be a monthly occurrence.
Yep. So I think
Hopefully
the
next
next
time,
one is early December. So
yeah, hopefully next time you'll have the stamina to finish the
well,
job.
already told Carl the next one I'm getting weird. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I know I'm getting weird.
We're gonna work
I
on
don't know how
squawkabilly.
weird.
We're gonna work squawkabilly. That's the vibes. Trust.
I'm just
Yeah, well,
saying, no one's gonna expect it.
Trust.
well,
It did
overall,
well
for
at that.
someone
It did
who
well in Europe once. Like they had that on stream.
it was like
I think.
Regulation C though,
Yeah.
like
Who
early Reg
cares?
C.
And how different is this format now to Reg D?
Significantly.
Also, I think it was Reg
Oh,
D. I
Reg
definitely
D.
don't think that was Reg C.
No, Reg D
That
was
was
it was
yeah. The squawkabilly was recent. I thought. I thought it was within like a
no, it
This
month
was
is
and a half
news
or
to
news.
me.
so.
I genuinely have no idea.
Yeah, I want to say it was like EUIC. It like I know it was like a Reg.
No.
Yeah, it was like
No.
back in like the spring.
No, it was
Uh,
not. It was very recent. It was very recent. 1,000,000%. It was one of the earlier of this season. It was post Worlds. Billion
it would have
percent.
had to have been Pittsburgh then, or it's at some point
It was
because
a
that's like
European regional. Hold on. Here we go.
I'm
while we're
looking.
looking this up,
This
Carter.
one is from Cybertron's. Oh yeah, 5 months ago. This is from. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what I
You got
thought.
me. You caught me.
It's fine. I mean, like everything
Pants
runs
were down.
together.
Damn.
You were saying Angelo. You
I was
you
gonna
were
say
passing it to me, so I'm passing it back to you, so you can pass it back to me.
for someone who plays mostly very weird Pokemon, this is not
like
a U
really
team.
stock.
Well, no, you do have some weirder sets. I mean, namely,
Yeah.
I'm not like you're going to have to talk me through this Roaring Moon.
Yeah, sure.
And even like certain things like the Poison Jab on the Urshifu is a cute tech. But yeah, take it over. It's all you now.
Okay, cool. So, the Urshifu, originally, I wanted to be able, because I don't really have a lot of like good speed control on this team. I felt that like Scarf was going to be relatively important to be able to deal with opposing Scarfmons, such as like all the Landorus running around. Being able to like just lock into Surging Strikes and just one shot basically anything I needed to seems like an all right idea. Originally I had Aqua Jet over U-turn, and that was something that Carl swapped out, and it actually was like relevant exactly once. That had I had Aqua Jet, it could have made a difference, but in reality, it did not. Poison Jab was really good, and the idea behind it is there's a lot of Ogre Pawn. Like that's it. Like it hits Ogre Pawn super effectively before they Terra, and this event there was also like 2 Clefairies running around, so like being able to just like hit into like Clefairy or like Rillaboom was another thing that I played against. Just being able to have like super effective damage into the grass types that were running around seemed like a position I wanted to be in that like wasn't U-turn specifically. Being able to like stay in and actually punch them seemed like a idea I wanted to have.
Okay.
In reality, I think I locked into Poison Jab exactly once. And like it was fine. Like it KO'd what I needed it to, and that was it. Hands is like super standard. There's literally nothing to talk about on it. Same with like Fluttermane. Fluttermane, I have Icy Wind over D-Gleam, and that's because I wanted extra speed control. It's literally that simple. The Ogre Pawn is also just like super standard. All the EV spreads came from Carl. I sent him like the 6, and like it was mostly like 252s across the board. And he's like, "Hey, do you care if I change these sets if I have them?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care. Like, I do your thing. You're putting the team together for me. This is the least I can worry about." Chin Pao, Carl wanted to have Sucker Punch. I wanted Crunch to be able to hit like for Rigoraph. That was the thing that came up. It was like Chien Pao was like the worst part of this team, unironically. The fact that like it was never able to really switch in, and the fact that like I had multiple Flutter Mains and like multiple Iron Bundles running around and not being able to outspeed it because I had Crunch made a really big difference. There were no Farigiraf, no Serena, nothing to stop Priority. I think there was a single Trick Room player, but neither Carl nor myself played against him, so I couldn't tell you exactly like how their team broke down to like what they were doing with Trick Room. So I'm not sure if like Crunch would have been relevant there if that was something I ran into, but yeah, Sucker Punch probably would have been better in reality. But yeah, Chien Pao just got like outsped and like punched really hard multiple times, and like that's the best thing it did. Roaring Moon, you're asking about it. I wanted to have access to Tailwind, was the first idea, but I can't be booster speed to be able to get like fast Tailwind because I want booster on Flutter Main because I don't want to be locked into on specs. My go-to idea when it comes to team building is I don't want more than one choice item per team because I don't want to get into an end game position where I'm locked into attacks and I can't pivot or do anything with them, and just like it comes down to hoping my attacks are the right ones I locked into. So being able to have just like exactly Scarf Urshifu is what I felt was fine, and like in reality, Booster Fluttermane was absolutely insane every time I had Fluttermane, it was good, where it was just like, all right, I'm gonna single target something, it's gonna do a ton of damage, and like that's all I needed to do. The Roaring Moon was really fine. Like it was fine. The fact that it was clear Amulet was actually relevant a couple different times. I played against a handful of Landorus. I think I played against like 2 Landorus and like 1 Arcanine. And like being able to be clear Amulet meant that like I could just like ignore their Intimidate and be able to like Dragon Dance in front of them, or just like click Dragon Claw and do a ton of damage into them, set Tailwind, do whatever I needed to there. And then the like Terra Flying is so that I have like some kind of ground immunity, because like right now I don't, and because I wanted to be able to hit Ogerpons super effectively as well. That's literally the idea behind it. Is like Ogerpon's really good. I need to be able to have a way of dealing with it in some form, and Terra Flying Terra Blast was actually like really good. Again, you could be like booster Acro, and that's probably just as good, but my big complaint about Roaring Moon is its damage output wasn't enough unless I had a Dragon Dance, and most of the time it wasn't to outspeed things. It's just so I could have extra attack. There was a handful of times where like I would do like 80% or like 85%, and I can't pick up the KO because I didn't Dragon Dance first, and then I get punched by hands and I lose. Whereas having Chien Pao obviously helps with that as well, to where you can like hit those rangers instead, and like Chien Pao also helps with like Urshifu and Ogerpon. But like after playing with it, I think the correct thing is probably just like do the standard thing of turning Roaring Moon into Dragonite. Like I feel like that's a pretty simple fix. Team felt fine. We can get down into like specifics and talk about like the actual tournament now if you all want.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the one thing that you did mention that. So that was, I think, the other thing. We didn't see this team until you locked it in. One of the things that
I literally refused to send it to you all for feedback until that morning when I had already locked it in.
So like the only thing I would have suggested, and it's what you said about wanting Crunch over Sucker, I would have had the Sucker on Chien Pao, and then on the Roaring Moon instead of the Dragon Claw, like I would have went with Knockoff, and also having that Knockoff, you might have been able to get more of those KOs immediately because Knockoff is about like its base power if you're hitting a Pokemon with an item
Mm-hmm.
is higher than Dragon Claws on that first hit. On hit 2, 3, 4, of course, Dragon Claw is better, but that like immediate dark type damage that does more and also hits the Fergaraffs that you were worried about, while also like you get that best of both worlds thing.
Notably, Dragon Claw was relevant.
Okay,
There
interesting.
was the player that ended up winning was on Dozo Glamora stuff, and their Dozo was Terra Dragon. And the
Okay,
fact that I
yep.
was able to hit Dragon Claw to be able to pick up a KO was actually really relevant. Because like so it came down to I close combat was able to pick up the KO on Dozo, which then let Dragonclaw Oko the Tatsugiri.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that okay. I could see that's important. And with
they
that,
granted they had also Terra'd in front of me, so like they were Terra Dragon. So in the event that like I don't pick up the KO with close combat, Dragonclaw then will also pick it up, which like knockoff also would at that point too, because they were doing like sub leftovers things with their dozo. So like being able to get rid of their lefties was important, would have been important. But like there was a handful of Terra Dragon mons running around. I I don't have like specifics. I meant to take pictures of like all the team sheets and everything, but I did not. Um,
try
but
your best.
unfortunately, I didn't think about it until like round 3. I was like, well, I don't want to go back and have to ask everybody for it, and it'll be fine. It's fine. Um, but yeah, so round 1, I played. I don't remember the last 2, but I know it was Focus Energy, Grassy Glide, Ogre Pond, Hearthflame. Next to Clefairy, Rillaboom, and Iron Bundle. I think they had an Arcanine. I think they had Hisuian Arcanine. I don't remember for sure. Um, but game 1, I had like taken care of Ogerpon. I've taken care of Rillaboom. Iron Bundle plus I think it's Arcanine is out at the time, and I look over at the team sheet and I don't see Focus Sash on Bundle. Like it, just quick glance, don't see Focus Sash. Okay, cool. Attack into it. Focus Sash procs. It's like that's concerning. So of course, call the judge over. He's literally standing right behind me, and I go, "Hey, that's not right." And my opponent goes, What's not right?" And like your team sheet has an error on it, and so the judge is like, the worst part is had I seen Focus Sash, I lost that game because of the Focus Sash. And so for me to win the game off a team sheet error was like it was kind of a kick in the teeth for my opponent, but like also that's why you check your team sheet 4 different times or whatever. Like for these locals, you have to manually write your like team sheet that you're handing your opponent. So not only do you have to write your one that you turn into your judge, but you also have to write the one that you keep to give to your opponent. Plus, our judge was going through and like checking everything beforehand anyway. So like there was multiple checks that it on his held item slot he wrote protect. Like he literally just had everything like shifted up 1. And so he just happened to miss that he forgot to write his item down. And so I ended up winning game 1 because of it. Lost game 2 because I wasn't able to deal with like the Sash on Bundle again, and then played a really I missed that Ogerpon had Grassy Glide, so he led Clefairy plus Ogerpon, and I was going to lock into Surging Strikes for the Ogerpon, and he was able to outspeed me because he had Grassy Glide swap into Rillaboom. So like lost that one basically on turn 1 because I forgot to read. I missed the part where it had Grassy Glide. I noticed it didn't have it on Rillaboom, but I missed that it had it on Ogerpon. So lost game 2 because of that, and then game 3, I outplayed my opponent basically at every spot. Like it was one of the like legitimately just like one of the best played games I had played in quite a while. Just like oh, he had Iron Hands on his team. That was the one that came both in like all 3 games. He had Iron Hands. I'm like, all right, gonna read the fake out into my Iron Hands, so I'm going to swap into Fluttermane. Okay, I read this correctly. He's going to try to double into that slot to be able to deal with it. Going to just protect this, just like made every read I could and just like very, very easily won game 3. So the rest of the day, my opponent, anytime I saw him, was just like, yeah, I'd be doing way better if I had just won because of that stupid team sheet error. It's like, sucks, man. Sorry. It's like
Yeah.
He finished 1-3. Like, even had he won that game, he would not have top cut. So like that's the part that got me. Just like, your single loss to me, like beating me would not have made a difference on your day. It was a clean top cut of 3-1. You would not have made top cut regardless. Don't sit here and like villainize me because you did something wrong. So then round 2, I actually need to pull up Carl's Twitter post. Because him and I actually played a lot. We played 2 of the 3 same opponents. I don't have Twitter open. Sorry, I don't have X open.
It's Twitter.
It's always going to be Twitter.
Long
So
time
round
vlog.
2, I played against Talonflame, Fluttermane, Iron Hands, Waterfoo. Waterfoo. No, this isn't right. There was a Gastrodon. I played against a Gastrodon, and this team does not have Gastrodon on it. But yeah, I played against like Talonflame, like hyper offense stuff. Unfortunately, I lost that match. I wasn't able to deal with Talonflame, and like he was Terra Ghost. He made the read turn 1 that I was going to set Tailwind, so he went for Will-O-Wisp, and because I went for Tailwind, I wasn't able to like break his Gale Wings. So the following turn, he just set Tailwind instead, and so then he had the speed priority the rest of the game. So like Talonflame's West Hands took care of me game 1, and then game 2, made similar plays with his Talonflame, and just like he won the Fluttermane mirror, where I had to take out his partner next to Fluttermane, and so as a result, he was able to take care of my Fluttermane instead. Round 3, I played against the Dozo player, Dozo Geary, Iron Hands, Glamora, Hearthflame, and Alolan Ninetales. Ninetales never came in either match. I don't think he brought Hearthflame either game either. And it was just, I was never able to get into a position where I could take out both Glamora and Hands to be able to deal with Dozo like coming in immediately. It's like game 1 I lost because Roaring Moon wasn't it. Like Roaring Moon, Dragonclaw plus close combat wasn't enough to KO his Hands. And so he was able to then just drain punch me, get back a ton of HP, take out my Roaring Moon. I'm now locked into close combat at -3. There's a 0% chance I live any hit.
Yeah.
Then game 2, I was able to. I just was never set up in a position to be able to take care of Dozo. And then round 4, I played against the judge's son, who was just on like the best 6 months of the format. It was just like Fluttermane, Hands, Tornadus, Hearthflame, Rapid Strike, something else. I forget the 6th.
Probably Lando T.
Lando T or Rillaboom probably with that 5.
Lando T sounds correct.
Yeah, that's the multi-winning tournament winning team.
Yes.
No,
the one that has
winning team.
Arcanine on it.
Yeah, it's Arcanine.
Maybe that's where I saw the Arcanine. I think round 1 they had Lando, and round 4 they had Arcanine. And I won game 1 fairly quickly. It was just like Fluttermane sweep, and then game 2, I would have lost, but like it came down to like Urshifu outspeeding everything because I had Choice Scarf, and had my opponent set Tailwind with his Tornadus, I would have lost. Instead, he went for like I'm in a position where it's Urshifu versus Fluttermane Tornadus, and I outspeed his Flutter Mane because he's at -1. I'm like, so if he sets Tailwind, he outspeeds me, one-shots me. But instead, he goes for Bleak Wind Storm. I Oko the Flutter Mane. He Bleak Wind Storms me, gets a speed drop, which I still outsped his Tornadoes at -1. So I was able to KO him through Citrus Berry at that point. So pretty clean 2-0. Yeah, it was a really fun tournament. And like I said, I'm getting goofy next time. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I know I'm getting wild.
God help us all at the sound of that. Pray for Jay, pray for me, pray for everyone else around. Or, I mean, like at the same time, I don't think anything can be worse than the monkeys. So
I might just bring monkeys.
Do not, for the love of, do not do that. Do not do that. I will not allow you to do that. I will be on a plane to wherever the hell Missouri. Actually,
all I'm hearing is this gets Angelo to come visit me. I see no downside.
So
just write it off as a business expense.
I don't think that there's any musicians or publishers I can talk to there to make it a business expense.
I tried.
Unless Carl is all of a sudden bankrolling all of us.
If he is, it's also news to me. He paid for my entry, so maybe he is.
It's like $5. I think like there's five. Like that's like $5.
I also drove, so like
yeah, I think
it was just hazard duty pay.
Yeah. So my main question for you with this team, just the run and everything, and 2-2 at your first event, in-person event since Knoxville.
Knoxville, yeah. With I should also add, with 0 games with this team under my belt.
Not bad. I think you set like a good floor for yourself for your next event. Again, my only real question here is, who's the MVP of the team for the day?
Probably Ogerpon.
Okay.
She's so cute and she smacks so freaking hard.
You mean the one Pokemon you never brought up during your explanation of the games?
So like in reality, I think I brought Ogerpon a majority of the games, and like against Dozo, it just sat there and horn leeched it and forced it to Terra. And like I'm like, all right, cool. I guess I'm gonna go for like Ivy Cudgels and try to get a crit now. And unfortunately, it never did. But like between Hands and Ogerpon, it made it where they couldn't set sub in front of me because they were just gonna get their sub broken and then punched. Fluttermane was good. The Icy Wind, I think I clicked exactly once, and it won me the game because it allowed Urshifu to be able to outspeed. Roaring Moon was fine. It like in reality, I don't think this like clear amulet set is all that good. In reality, it should probably just be like the booster standard set.
I just think your set is like a little split between two minds. Like
it's trying to be a support mon while also being like hyper offense things.
Yeah, like I like the clear amulet set, but I think you like take off Tailwind and replace like Terra Blast with knockoff and put like a defensive Terra onto it. Like and
unironically, Terra Flying was awesome.
I love Terra Flying, but I think you just run acrobatics with it because like your matchup against Fluttermane is so dependent on Terra otherwise. And that's a really big detriment for a Pokemon that's 4 times weak to it. Like you would like to, be able to play other ways around it and not have to Terra to do damage and also to, not get KO'd. So
it definitely came up with a couple different times when it was like, well, I have 4 fairy weaknesses on this team. Yeah. It's like something's dying this turn, if not both things, because of Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, and it's also it's vulnerable to Fake Out without the Protect, which makes it tough to get that Tailwind and that Dragon Dance. But I do really like the idea that you were going with here. I like the clear amulet vision. I think it's actually a very good item on it.
I think dropping Tailwind for like Protect and then dropping Dragon Claw for knockoff and then like maybe changing the Terra type to something else.
Yeah,
I
like
could see like
poison.
I think poison's fine, but then like we probably don't want Terra Blast, like Jay was
No.
saying.
Yeah, I think if you're going with the defensive Terra, like you're gonna always run probably knockoff plus Dragon Claw and
Could
replace
also
Terra
be Terra
Blast.
Fire. Could also be Terra Fire, so then we're not getting burnt.
Yeah.
So then, if in the event I run into more Talon Flames, I can just like Terra in front of it and not be sad.
Yeah, Roaring Moon's like a Pokemon that definitely has four move syndrome. Like you want it to
Oh,
do the
Mm-hmm.
big
support
time.
stuff, you want it to do the offensive stuff. And I also think since you went the support route, you went with that Jolly Nature, which took away some of its offensive output that you could have gotten out of like Adamant Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
you
think
know
being
that
adamant
could be why you missed
was.
some KOs there too.
I think adamant is actually like pretty critical for this. Um, but like the least valuable player was definitely Chien Pao. It just like
Hmm.
it never did anything. It legitimately came in and immediately died. I think I clicked Ice Spinner literally once. I legitimately think I got one attack off with Chien Pao the entire day.
Yeah, Sucker Punch might have been a really good
Yeah.
change there. I
Yeah,
think
in reality, had it been Sucker Punch, I think Chien Pao would have been very useful.
yeah.
But unfortunately, it wasn't, and so it sucked.
Having Chien Pao is kind of like you really want that priority spam, and since you don't have Sucker Punch on that or the Aqua Jet on the Urshifu, like your Sword of Ruin is kind of
It's not as
not
impactful.
wasted,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's not as impactful, and it's also very
So
dangerous for your own Pokemon, your own
yeah,
partner
Chien Pao
Pokemon as
actually
well.
cost me a game because of Sword of Ruin.
Yeah,
So
it's
like literally was the least valuable. It not only just died, but it also cost me a Mon multiple times.
yeah, like looking at the team, like if you were to, reconstruct after doing this, like maybe like a Landorus there could be good. Maybe like an Arcanine, and replacing the Ogre Pond. I know your original team was like we were replacing Arcanine for something else, and
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think that
If you want me to be honest, I think instead of Chien Pao, the correct answer is Tornadus. Like that's
I also
legitimately
agree with that choice
feels like
too.
what this team needs. It's just like an additional form of speed
Yeah, and
control
then it
that's
allows your
not an
moon to
additional
drop the
physical
tailwind.
attacker.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
drops you don't have to run the tailwind on the moon anymore. You could probably even drop the icy wind on Flutter.
yeah.
Although I do like that as the extra, bit of speed control that you were saying that you were like it was funny to me because one of the first things you said about the team was that you didn't have that much speed control, which is why you ran the choice scarf on the Urshifu. But then I also see like tailwind on Moon and icy wind on Flutter, and I'm like,
But
that's actually quite a bit of speed control.
it's two attacks
But it's
and
yeah, it's just not enough,
yeah, and
when you're
like
dealing with
it's not
priority
consistent enough. I
tailwinds.
think is the big thing.
Yeah, you're dealing with that
Um,
priority tailwind and fake out and two
yeah,
times
with follow
speeds.
me fake out, like I can reasonably get tailwind up, but like if this is just tornadoes, then I can also do like sunny day things, and then like roaring moon like gets that attack boost anyway, so like to go off that way too. Like
Hmm.
hearth flame gets to be able to like hit ivy cudgels absurdly hard. Fluttermane is just like, I mean, Fluttermane is still just good, but it allows me to play more defensively with Fluttermane being able to get its proto boost later in the game as well,
Yeah.
because that actually came up once as well. It didn't cost me the game because my opponent also made a similar play of like giving up their booster boost. um,
The boost
but just
boost.
having like additional
Boost
forms of speed
boost.
control seems really interesting. Carl and I were talking about it some on the way back home, and something I'm interested in trying is like Chien Pao plus Dragapult, just being able to be like physical Dragapult with like Terra Ghost, Terra Blast, and just like punching things really hard that way seems really interesting as well.
Yeah. I
You
think
even mentioning that gives me freaking flashbacks to Will's team
it's
with Turret Dragon Outrage Dragapult with a band. Oh my god, there were no survivors left. That was 4 games of my life that I don't want to relive.
yeah, Dragapult is incredibly strong. I feel like the meta is in a weird place for it just because there is a lot of booster speed Flutter and there is a lot of booster speed Roaring Moon. There's a lot of Scarfers. There's of course other Chi and Pow with Sucker Punch running around. But
That's the big thing is I think Carl played against the only the only other Chien Pao player, and like it was relevant that I don't think they had Sucker Punch either. I could be wrong. I'd have to go look up their team sheet because the only team sheet I took a picture of was Carl's opponent.
Yeah, and that was only because you were trying to like stream it from your phone to
but
like
it
show
wasn't
like
working.
yeah, I don't know if it was your internet was bad. Like I was trying to watch
No,
it, my
so
internet was bad.
whenever you would join, it would like zoom my camera back out all the way. I'm like, I don't want to show everything. I just want to show Carl's screen as much as possible. I don't care about the hallway behind him.
Yeah, I was able to watch like or at least see like a tiny bit, but then it was like, oh no, internet's too bad, no stream. And then you had to do the text play by play
Which,
for us to
for
figure
the
out what was
record,
going
the
on.
text play-by-play was clutch.
Yeah, no, it was actually pretty good. Especially like yeah, it was a come together moment for the group to just see like how everything was going, and we're like, yes, he can do it. Game one was a little rough, but Okidogi like really pulled it out. That's another Pokemon that is super cool. Actually, I was going to say, I'd say for the unless you have anything else to go and talk about, the next portion of the pod, our third portion. Well, actually, first, do you have anything else you want to bring up?
Carl has a rental of his team up. If you want to go play it, it's good. Okie dokie was stupid. It's so goofy looking, and like it's so goofy. that's literally all I can say about this stupid little dog. It's just goofy.
it's a goofy goober.
Are we going to put one of your rental up as well?
I don't have a rental made up for it, but I could probably do that. I wouldn't recommend it.
we need it for the content. Put it up.
I sent Bruno my original team, and he said he's probably going to record with it. So,
well, maybe we can
go sub to Bruno. He's great.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna. So we have two options to discuss. I want to go into the state of the meta.
Option 2.
You don't even know what I'm going to say.
Correct.
And
that's why I'm picking option 2.
But like, what if Jay wants what if Jay wants to give his input in?
Option 2 is let Jay talk about his golf game this weekend.
That is no. How did you do this weekend, though? Did you have a good weekend?
I actually played the best golf of my entire life.
That is amazing to hear.
I have been practicing quite a bit recently. I started only a couple months ago, and I've been practicing a lot because I'm going away this upcoming week, and I want to go play some golf, and I've just really have enjoyed it. And I hadn't played in about a month on like an actual course, and I went out and I was absolutely just stomping this course. I played a plus 10 on the 9, which was a good score for me.
Mm-hmm.
And my drives were straight. My irons were great. I was sticking greens, and then I was missing putts, and that's just the way things are sometimes, and that's okay. But I made 4 parmesans over 9 holes, so that was like astounding to me. I was very proud of myself.
I don't know golf. I don't know what that is. The only Parmesan I know is
4 pars is
okay.
Yeah, it's that's why I'm called Parmesan today.
My playmate, the guy I go and play with, he went and played 18 over the last 2 days. He went to go play 18 yesterday, and then he's like, yeah, I got through 9. I'm like, he just told him, he's like, I'll be back tomorrow to play the back 9. So over 2 days, he shot a 98. So like for his first time playing 18, shooting under 100 is like like that's like my
Yeah.
goal is to shoot under 100 over
I
over
still
18.
haven't
So
officially done that yet on an 18. It's been a really long time since I played an 18, but I'm gonna get quite a few of those over the next couple weeks. Gonna keep my
Rick and I
fingers
only ever
crossed.
played 9. So
Yeah, I
my
did.
goal is to shoot under 50 on 9, and I've shot a 52.
I tied against my my golf buddy that I normally go with, and normally he's been playing for a bit longer, but I haven't even been within like 6 or 7 strokes the past few times we've played. So to come out there and tie him, I was cooking. Your boy was out
Who
on that
was it?
green
Do I need
cooking.
to yell at someone in the group chat?
It was Dom.
All right, cool. Dom's on my shit list. So. He talks mad crap all week, and then like I just
Yeah.
destroy everyone I play in fantasy. Like
Yeah, the amount of
one week I
times that
lost,
Dom
the
calls him a
Chiefs died.
fraud. He just goes, yo, Carter's team is on fraud watch every single week. Like the week has just
Literally,
started.
like every
that's it.
Wednesday he'll start. And
Like,
just like
Carter's opponent had every single guy play on Thursday night, and it's Saturday night, and Dom's like, yo, Carter's team is down 81-0. What a fraud! What a fraud!
like the guy I played this week is like tanking this season, and also has been out for like the last month or whatever, and has had Joe Burrow sitting on his bench. So he texted our group chat this morning and told the commissioner, "Hey, you should probably put Joe Burrow in." It's like,
Oh yeah. He's
Like,
not tanking. He is serving in our U.S. Air Force. So
but he's
good on
also
him.
1-8, so he might as well be tanking.
Okay, but the team that's 0-9 is actually tanking.
To be fair, the 0-9 team is ass.
Because they're tanking. They are intentionally tanking this season.
Whereas Joe's team actually looks like a competent team that just hasn't been, organized for the last month and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm beating Joe is because Dak Prescott put up 38. That's it. That's the reason I'm going to win this week.
If Devontae Adams keeps playing the way he's playing right now, I have a chance. A chance.
Oh, I forgot there's football tonight.
Yeah.
There is football tonight. For the love of God, if you
We
just
turned into
stop
a
paying
sports
attention and turn the
podcast.
game on, I'm going
We've
to
always
kill
been a sports podcast, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was option 2, baby. This was it.
Okay,
Jay
so
got to
that-
talk
and I
about his
chose
golf
option
game.
2.
Jay
Yeah,
got
Jay
to
got to
talk
talk-
about his golf game today, and he is absolutely thrilled about it.
So after that, like little aside, I let
We're
you
not
guys
done.
go.
We're not done with option 2 yet.
Oh no, I'm saying you're done with option 2. So we do have 2. Actually, I made the decision on what we're going to talk about next. It's just going to be just a brief overview. We do have LAIC coming up, and the kind folks at the trainer school had a 219-person tournament. We aren't going to really dive into teams, but I think it's a good idea just to look at the wonderful data that LabMouse put together. Shout out to my ginger stud Tim for doing that. See, I was allowed to be horny on this podcast, but not in Dad's server.
And I would love to be able to look at this data, but someone didn't send me this before we started, so.
It's
It's
on
on
the
the
screen.
Riverside screen.
Yeah, but you think I'm watching that? I have
Yeah,
football on.
Oh Jesus!
Say I'm not looking at the screen without saying I'm not looking at the screen.
No, I knew
Challenge.
it was up. I just want to give
Folks,
Angelo a hard
folks.
time.
Amelia wasn't the reason why Carl stepped away. It was this shit that's going on right now, where yeah,
You knew the NFL season was coming up and didn't want to put up with me through it again.
I actually looked through. I'm very excited. Next week, the Eagles are playing a Monday night game, so it's 2 straight weeks where
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
all are in
going-
Kansas City next week.
We are, and
If
that's
those
2
tickets
straight-
weren't $300 a piece, I'd go.
Oh, I not even want to tell you what East Coast prices are. Anyways, so here's what we have. We have the data from the trainer school. We're just going to dive right in a little. And I think this is just generally a good representation of where the meta's been at and where it looks like it's going to continue to be at into Latin American internationals. As you can see in the Pokemon section, Iron Hands just squeaking out Fluttermane to rule a day for #1 in usage. with Lando, Waterfu, Torn, Hisuian Arcanine, Rillaboom, Heatran, and Shenpao rounding things out, along with Ogerpon Wellspring, who is significantly more popular than Heartflame, having over double the amount of Heartflame, which I don't know if this was a conversation that we had on the pod or just in general at the beginning of Regulation E of which Ogerpon is going to be more popular. Wellspring is the answer.
Hot take: Wellspring sucks.
I don't think you just. I don't think
I
you're
think
right.
you are very wrong.
I think you're
I-
very, very incorrect.
I think Heartflame is
It's-
awesome.
I
I
Yeah,
think
love
Heartflame-
Heartflame.
Wellspring is like a very good Gloomon just because of its defensive flexibility. Heartflame,
No, I don't disagree. It is a very, very good
yeah.
Pokemon. But the way I play the game, it doesn't fit my play style.
Yes,
That's
you're a
fair.
hyper
It's
offensive
Amoonguss.
guy. We love.
I
love
want to click
Amoonguss.
the super effective button.
I love Amoonguss.
I strongly dislike Amoonguss.
I love Amoonguss.
Amoonguss is fine. I'm Amoonguss agnostic. I can give or take.
We have
Um,
all three.
I subscribe to the Church of the Mushroom.
The mushroom got you
Only-
a top 16. Of course you do.
The only shrooms I subscribe to are turbo shrooms.
It was top 32, but
Oh wait.
Thank you.
Gee. You know what? You were top 16 in my heart.
yeah, I was top 16 in my heart too.
I think
I don't think that's quite how that works, Jay. Unfortunately, buddy.
No, it's not. It's okay
but
though.
we can try. Going back to this, one of the other interesting things we can look at with the lab mouse data is looking at team cores. You can look at team compositions of 2 through 6. So I like looking at 3 or 4 team cores. I think that gives you a good idea of the popular mons overall without showing here's a full team, or on the other end with the 2 mons it's not as big. And what you could see here is the 3 most used mons are also together 16% of the time. That Lando, Flutter, Iron Hands. This was a trio that was deemed this is really good at the start of the season, and it's just continued to be really good. And you can even see this trio to an extent through your item usage. And I feel that a lot of the items, specifically like the Assault Vest, Choice Scarf, and Booster, are almost as incorporated, as what's the word I'm looking for? Consolidated on who's using what item. As the meta is. Assault Vest, it's okay, well, the Assault Vest, that's your hands. The Scarf, that's your Lando. The Booster, that's your Flutter. And when and that's probably why you're seeing these are the top 3 items and these are the top 3 Pokemon in usage, and they're also just together all the time.
Yeah, Scarf is also on the Rapid Urshi
Yep,
quite
Scarf
a bit,
could
which
also
is
be on the
number
Rapid.
4. So
And it's
way
also
up
you
there.
see you see the Torn, Hark, and Waterfu as one of the other big trios that we're seeing. Other trios to mix and match with the Landorus, Hands, Flutter. You're seeing a lot of Heatran and a lot of Waterpon. So those 5 together make a really, really great balance team as well. You could throw on a Dragon type like Dragonite or Roaring Moon to balance that out. But you could see with these different, a lot of these are just different permutations of the 5 mons. When you move to 4 mons, you're seeing Heatran with our golden trio as number 1, and then Waterpon with them as the number 2, and then number 4 you're seeing the Heatran and the Waterpon with the Flutter and Hands. It's actually not until the 5th core of 4 where you're not seeing where you don't see any of the Pokemon of the previous ones. And then we can actually go talk a little more, or just go over the teams in general. Again, just super high level to just again see what exact sixes are coming, or at least the types of teams. First off, shout out to Wolf, who won the tournament using Weezing, which I think is fitting after this past week of us trying to figure out a Weezing team for Carter, for him to not bring it, and then for Wolf to pick up the mantle and win this. So thanks, Wolf.
He obviously saw our podcast and was like, "This is the correct team, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna use this."
I would like to think that I inspired Wolf Glick.
Exactly.
I think outside of, again, we're seeing a lot of more standardist stuff. We are seeing an uprise in Amoongus throughout the format, second and third place using Amoongus on their team, running balancy-ish teams, but again, it's like even these balanced teams. So I really wouldn't call second place a balanced team. It's Chen Knight with Amoongus. And then third place is closer to balance, but the Goldengo and the Fluttermane and the Lando just do so much damage. Anything else? Like, is there anything else you guys want to add with this top 8? Like different mons that stick out to you? I think there's a few that kind of stick out to me. The 2 Dark Urshifus are definitely potentially an interesting thing for us to maybe look out for this upcoming weekend.
There is 2 Dozo teams. One is Nogiri, but they both have Ninetales with them, which is cool. Golden Go is him. Golden Go is the truth.
That
Pokemon is so good.
Golden Go is something I need to play with a lot because
Yeah.
I played a lot with it in Reg A, and I haven't really touched it since.
It is really strong.
There's no particular reason. It's just new toy syndrome, where it's just like, all right, I want to play with all the fun stuff. I want to play with all the new stuff. And so Golden Go, I feel like, is a solved entity for the most part. Is like we know what it does. But man, it's really good. Yeah.
There's as many. It just has a lot it can do.
Yeah, it can do. There's
in testing the Weezing team. Golden Go was something that I had a lot of trouble with, like, because this Terra Dragon set was just really popular. It's like, well, good as gold, like, doesn't really, like, for the most part, doesn't really matter, right? And so, like, Weezing turning that off didn't do anything, and so it's like, well, Landers can just go for, like, Stomping Tantrum into this, but then they just Terra, and, like, it doesn't matter, and then they just Oko me because they're at +2 Make It Rain.
Yeah.
I think what's also interesting is that we do have as many Goldengo as Flutters in the top 8. Of course, the Flutters did place higher. We did have one team, the third place team, with both Flutter and Goldengo, which is also something that you want to keep in mind, is that even though they're both Ghost-type special attackers, they actually can fill different roles, and you can use the 2 mons together, which I think is super cool. Again, the 2 Dark Urshifus are really interesting to me. The 4th place team, this looks like an iteration on the team that Sanvi and Chuppa use, where instead of using Rillaboom and Waterfu, it's Darkfu with Wellspring Overpon as your like Rain Dance abuser, physical water type attacker. So I thought that was, you lose the Fake Out and the priority Grassy Glide, but you gain redirection. You get priority through the Urshifu with Sucker Punch, and yeah, it could do a lot of really cool things there. So I think, and again, 6th place, same exact thing, but also replacing the Fluttermane with Goldengo. So yeah, I think that this could be a potential evolution on a team of 6 that we've seen win back-to-back events. Maybe this is like the next step that it takes for LAIC. So that's definitely something I want to look into, as like keep an eye out for as well.
Are we expanding this out to I don't know, let's say like top 32? You wanna?
I was going to say we can look at top 32 usage.
Cool. I want to jump to number 27.
Let's. Oh dear Lord, why do we do this? Why? Okay, we're going to expand this. We're going to do this, folks. Pelipper is better than Politoed. Do not
Disagree.
What
Politoed has a better shiny, therefore it's better.
Pelipper. We're doing this. Okay, you know what? You want to do this? That's great. Here's the team. You drive. You talk about it.
Politoed's a cute little guy.
Is there anything else?
I don't know. Like, okay, so Politoed's really cool. I think having like the inevitable end game of perish songing people is really interesting. And being able to have like rain boosted surging strikes on Terra Water Urshifu is going to Oko like it's going to Oko Gastrodons. Like Urshifu doesn't care at that point. Urshifu doesn't care about your Storm Drain. It's going to Oko you. That's how that works, right?
No. I mean, I see this team here.
Thanks for the feedback, guys. I appreciate this. This is riveting conversation going on.
It's quite
You wanted
insane.
to look at it.
I think Politoed is better than Pelipper on this team because you have the Zapdos.
2-1. Angelo's wrong again.
You have the Zapdos here, which is just doing, the Pelipper's job next to the Politoed. Like, it's just making two different, Pokemon. It gives you a little bit more flexibility rather than the roll condensing. But, like, I think overall, if you're running Rain, like, without Zapdos, you're probably running Pelipper.
Yeah, the first thing I saw when I saw this team is the Zapdos should be the Scarf, Tailwind, Salamence, and the Politoed should be a Pelipper. And then I think it would actually be like an insanely like good team with super defined roles and can put out a lot of damage.
Isn't that literally just Justin Tang's team at that point? Like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That like if you're going to do the rain thing, you do the rain thing that went and cut and then made top 16 and then top 32. That's what I'm saying. And I know that Tang, he actually did change up his team. I saw he still is using rain, but it's not the exact same team. He went to I think it was like an MSS or a PC this past weekend. That was just my thought on it. I do like the Goldengo and the Rillaboom. Weirdly enough, I like Hisuian Arcanine in the rain as well. In Regulation D, when I was really into Basculegion, I actually played a team very similar to this, with Pelipper as my rain setter, the Basculegion as my abuser, and then I had like Rillaboom, Hisuian Arcanine, Goldengo, and I think it was Champao was my sixth.
I thought it was Thundurus Therian for some reason.
No, that was a different team.
It sounds like the same team.
He has played Thundy.
I have used Thundurus Therian. That was it was a Thundurus, like that one I saw was a Thundurus Therian Goodra H rain team.
I'm gonna so talking about like rain setters, we're all in agreement that Tornadus is the best rain setter, right?
Yeah, I mean
like yes and no.
if we're getting into like semantics, Tornadus is just better.
You're setting manual rain, and like your main job is not to set rain, but I also don't think that rain is, as impactful to where you want you need it for that field state.
Correct.
When you're running like the Tornadus with it, it's like I have Tailwind up. I don't need to click Bleak Wind Storm this turn. I can instead boost my Surging Strikes, and then on the next turn, now I'm guaranteeing 100%, Bleak Winds if I'm still around as Tornadus, and I think that is all good stuff. I think it's more flexible.
Having Tornadus allows you to have the option for rain, whereas Politoed, requires it, right? Like, the versatility is a huge part of what makes Tornadus good, because it does more than just click Tailwind, click Rain, Like it, the fact that like we talked earlier about it being a sunsetter for like Ogerpon and Roaring Moon, like, and now here we are talking about it being the best rain setter. Like,
So I do think specifically for this team, when you look at the comp, when you have a team that has Goldango, Rillaboom, and it has this Zapdos who can go Terra Steel, having the ability to have that immediate rain to be able to switch in a Pokemon to get the damage reduction to keep those three safe. Because hypothetically, you bring the Goldango, you bring the Rillaboom, and you have to you bring Zapdos and you Terra it. If you don't have the rain, a well-placed Hisuian Arcanine, a well-placed Heatran, or of your favorite, the Heartflame Ogerpon, those are Chi-Yu as well. Those are Pokemon that can run through you, and having the ability to just switch the rain in is really good there. Also, I will just say this, that I do think Politoed would be better if it kept its access to Scald. I think that was an unnecessary nerf to the Pokemon.
Yeah, that hurt.
Being forced to run Muddy Water, it's just bad vibes. So I think that's like the other thing with Paul. Honestly, I would have taken a page out of the Tang's book, and I would have had Terra. I think they had Terra Blast on their Pelipper, and I would have rather
there's a couple Pelipers in this event as well that are playing Terra Blast.
Yeah, I would have much rather had that instead of the Muddy Water on the Politoed. I'd say other things just in general to note, just looking at where teams are. Certain other archetypes that did super well earlier in October, namely your Blood Moon comps and your Komao teams. They really weren't performing that well this event. Blood Moon really hasn't felt that great in the last 2 weeks. It's not as good into these double priority teams with that, unless like the Blood Moon Dusclops isn't as powerful into these double priority teams. It's not great into the Sandy team either. As someone who has been playing a lot of it, I could definitely feel like it doesn't have the power output that it had earlier on, and even now we're seeing so the first, like the highest, like we can actually go up here, and we have a top placement. So in the top 32, it wasn't a top 32 cut, I think it was like 20 something, but it's top 32 is fine. So there were the same amount of Blood Moon Ursaluna and Ursaluna. However, Blood Moon topped out at 29, which I don't believe was cut, while regular Ursaluna, its highest placement was in 15th, which wasn't cut. And I think like that is also something new, where we were seeing Blood Moon perform better than Hisuian Ursaluna, and now we're starting to have it flip back to where the Hisuian version is producing better and overall doing better. So with this data and the little rain aside, let's switch back and let's have some fun giving like some last minute predictions for LAIC. What do you guys expect to see? What do you guys think is going to be like the call or the surprise to the weekend?
Before we get too far, I want to give a shout out to JPie finishing 31st with Komao and Thundy Incarnate. Just wanted to shout our community member JPie.
Yep.
Based.
Oh, and Blood Moon. Wow, just hitting. It's it's literally like, hey, I want to go and take all the favorite mons of our favorite hosts and just throw them on a single team. So yeah, you shout out JPie.
Base JPie.
Yeah.
Good job.
Also, while we're doing shout outs, shout out to Swede. 3 straight years of Regirock hunting, baby. Love you, buddy.
We can cut that part.
You know he's not going to cut that part.
I thought you were getting ready to say Swede played in this event too. I'm just like, oh, I missed that.
No, I think I know he's been running the Bert and Lizzie events for Himi. So I'm not sure if he's been running, if he has been playing. He's been more so like moderating these events, which maybe we might have some events in the upcoming future to moderate.
Hopefully. That'd be cool.
So yeah, back to predictions. I think of like outside of Hasuna Arcanine just winning another Regulation E major, I actually do think that Darkfu is going to pop up and show up well. I think that like Banded Darkfu just does a lot of damage. With the amount of, I think it's just placed well enough in the format where, while you didn't really see it in the results of this format in general, it just feels like Fluttermane isn't doing as much, and so I think it can sneak in, and maybe we can see a Darkfu or two in Top Cut, just like we did in the Trainer School Tour. What about you guys?
I think honestly, like I personally think that we might see a three-peat of the same team winning 3 times in a row.
Okay.
But LAIC or I know one of the Latin American regionals last season had Orthworm win it. And the Big Iron Defense Body Presser in this series is Komao. I'm a big believer. And I think that it'll have a really good showing at LAIC.
Okay. Carter?
Oh, let me get weird for a minute. Let me scroll here. So it's funny you were talking about Salamence earlier and like doing the Salamence rain things.
Yeah.
I think that team that Justin played was really sick, and I don't know if we actually talked about it at all. It might have been the week I was gone. I don't remember, but
I think Jay and I talked about it.
that team is so cool. And I was looking at it today, and I would like to see that happen. I want to see Justin run it back, and I doubt that's even going to be like remotely close to happening, but I want to see Salamence bring home a trophy.
I don't know if Justin. Last thing, I'm not sure who's going. The only person I know who's going is Pengy, and I'm pretty sure he's not bringing rain. He hasn't.
You
told
should
me what he's
convince
bringing.
him to tune the monkeys.
I think if I did that, he might block me.
I'll message him.
Actually, no, he can't. I'm usually his ride to events, so he needs me.
Unblockable.
I'll message him and be like, Angelo said that you would think this is a great idea, so I just want your feedback.
Absolutely not. And so on that, folks, Jay, take us home.
Thank you all so much for watching episode 193. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, all the fun YouTube stuff. Check out the Twitter over at LR Lessons. Join our community Discord. We're all chilling over there. We're all hanging. We all have a good time. The website, lrlessons.com. And, also check out the Patreon and Discord supporters tier. Shout out to Johnny Bravo Sr. and Papa Swish for the Patreon, and Smeargle for the continued support on Discord. And with that, I think that is everything.
Before we go, I have one last thing. On the website there is our list of events. Expect that to be updated soon. We need to like obviously hash things out and finalize everything, but Angelo also kind of mentioned it earlier. We are going to be trying to fire more events sooner rather than later, just because, especially since Carl and I are going to be like running to regionals. I mean, are going to be playing and stuff again. I would like more practice, so like being able to actually have stuff to play in sounds cool. So yeah, check out the website. Make sure you're in the Discord to get notifications with all that stuff as well. I think that's it. That was my little bit of a blurb there at the end. So
yeah, no, I don't have anything else.
Oh, and if anyone wants to buy me and or Angelo tickets to the Eagles game, the Chiefs Eagles game, cheapest tickets are $325 in the nosebleed section. So
you also have to pay for my plane ticket from Newark because I will be Newark.
Angelo, you're rich.
I'm not rich, guys. We're not doing this on the podcast. We're ending.
Just fire up the private jet.
We're done.
Well,
You all end the episode. This is on you at this point.
Thank
Oh,
you
yeah,
all
just-
so much for watching. And we will see you all next time. Peace out.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.